here today doing the first podcast. We don't know what it's called yet, but it's going to get going. We got Frankie in the house. Say hi.
Hey.
We got young Romo in the house.
Hola.
What's going on? And your host today is going to be Panda. So what's good for today? What do you guys bring to the table?
Well, we got coffee on the table.
Okay.
This fucking coffee is fire.
Dude, I'm sweating on how much, this coffee's so strong.
This coffee
Having a midday coffee does wonders to you, Did you guys have coffee this morning?
Yes, sir.
So it's the second of the day?
This is my fourth.
Jesus Christ, it's only 1 o'clock.
I'm trying to cut down my caffeine intake. I'm trying to sleep eventually,
I'm trying to cut down, but I'm going to have to do it in steps. I'm going to have to go like this, which
Just
is
wean
liquid
yourself
cocaine.
off, yeah.
And then I'm going to go like black tea, green tea, to like nothing.
Well, yeah, just to let the listeners know, this is straight black coffee. Like, there's no milk, there's no sweetener. It's just...
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. I feel like that's how you get the more taste out of it. Mm-hmm. You spend a whole bunch of money for these... locally grown coffees, whatever. And, a lot of people just pour milk all over it. And it's like, I didn't know you want milk in coffee. It's like, you want to taste the coffee,
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's pretty good. So, yeah, what do you guys want to talk about today? What's new?
I'm thinking, as I take a big hit, on the John Jones fight, real quick. Cormier.
All right, so we're going MMA.
I'm going straight MMA right now.
I like it.
Here's what I seen a video the other day where he said, "My only weakness is Cormier. My only weakness is that left kick."
Right.
This was 2 or
DC
3 years
said
ago. He put this out into the universe 3 years ago.
This is going to be the first rematch.
Yeah, this was I think it was maybe their first fight. I'm not sure exactly the timeline.
So it was before they fought or after they fought?
I believe it was before their first fight.
I know they tried to do the rematch a couple times.
Yeah, it might have been after the second one. I don't know timeline, but he said my only weakness is that left kick. Then he said, but don't worry, I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna close that hole. And then just to see him, he was doing so damn good. The first round was a little, it was kind of back and forth. You can kind of give it to Jones. He was controlling the distance.
First round is always to measure each other, right?
Yeah.
Like for the most part, you kind of just get the
out,
distance, whatever.
Guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
But he knocked out his mouthpiece, I believe, in the first round.
Yeah,
with those 2 uppercuts. And then he was trying to get back to the clinch in the second, which he kind of succeeded, and he was winning that second round, kind of controlling where it was going. Then the third, it was just, he was doing good in that round. Then even when he got the kick, he tried to block. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
He put his hands down to try to block the kick, but it was so many reps of what's called the front teep. He was raising his knee and doing the straight jab kick in, right? And he put a lot of reps of that in his head in the first 2 rounds and then a portion of the third.
Yeah.
Then when he got him with the left kick, he raised the knee the same way and then went up and over.
So what you're saying is, because I'm not much into fighting technique or whatever. I just kind of like seeing people get punched, right? I think that's how most people are.
And start.
So what you're saying is, he was essentially setting up the play action, if you will.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
pumping those kicks just straight up like a jab almost, and then just before you know it, he actually swung it to the side, right?
He was imprinting it into his brain that every time his knee comes up, that foot's coming straight in, boom, and it was hurting. He was going both what's called the oblique kick, which is to the knee, and then he was changing levels.
Yeah, no, I saw that quite a bit.
Yeah, he does that in every fight, and then he was also changing levels to the sternum and belly.
Yeah.
Then that last one that knocked his ass out was same startup, but he flicks it up and around, so it comes up and then boom, in.
Yeah.
This is the genius of John Jones. He has 2 attacks that look similar. He sets it up.
So he disguises his good attack, I guess.
Yes. And then out of nowhere, just bam, last second.
Over the top.
Because you're expecting something, and that's just going to mess up your mind. Just okay, he's going to do this. So I'm going to react right now because with fighters, they don't react at the movement they're about that they're seeing. It's okay, you have a little bit of hints on what they're gonna
drilled
do.
in.
Is that most fighters that do that, or just John Jones specifically?
No, if every fighter sets shit up.
Because I feel like
I've done it in sparring, and I'm not the highest level like these guys are, but it just happens. Like, let's say in boxing, you're going jab. You feint a jab, they block a certain way, and you switch it up with a left hook, right hook, whatever it is.
Because I feel like that's what happens in sports in general. You want to be as efficient as possible. normal. So you focus on things that you're good at, like one thing, not one, but just things that you're good at.
Yeah.
And then the variation is where you actually get the advantage.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Staying on that topic, Conor McGregor is like his main weapon, how he puts people out is his left hand.
Right.
And it's all really how he sets it up. So he'll set it up with all these crazy kicks, all this flim-flam flying at you and shit. But it's really just to line you up for his left shot. And every kind of fighter or even in basketball, whatever, they have like their signature moves.
Right.
That's his signature move is that left coming down the fucking pipe.
Yeah, like,
or coming across
that
the
Kobe
jaw.
fadeaway, like, it's coming.
And the little
he
foot out
goes,
that he does.
He goes a different way, and you're like, oh, well, now he can make it that way, too. It kind of gets in your head.
What do you think that is? That's just getting a lot of reps into it to perfect, and you feel confident.
Like I said, I think it's efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in other sports, let's say, football, right? Most of the plays teams run are in the same packages, same formations, right? And then you do that variation. That's what gets you like the big yardage. That's what gets you the big plays.
It's work to your strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like for example, Connor, he has that powerful nuke of a left hand. So he worked around it to make it not better power or he works on his timing and power with that hand, but to disguise it, to make it think that, his arsenal will be way better or way varied, so it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Also,
because at a certain point, after you do any sort of sport, like, people know what's coming, like what to expect from you. So if you give it the same thing, it's not going to be as efficient. So when you mix it up like that, like you were saying, like, he's known for his left hand, so he tries to work on other things that aren't just.
There's that, but also with like going back to John Jones now, he throws variety at you. He'll mix it with elbows. He mix it with.
It's just his body. Like he can hit from like anywhere.
It's also not to throw in the word genetics, but his brothers are fucking high level football players. Like there's something with that as well. Yeah, they're in the motherfucking L.
Yeah.
And then he has all those athletic gifts, but he's putting it in the realm of fighting now.
Do you know what I think his main weapon is? It's how. Not abnormal, but how unique his body is. He has the longest reach out of anybody in the whole.
I think the only one that rivals him is Stephen Struve, and he's like 7 foot tall.
Yeah, 7 foot tall. Brock Lesnar weighs 40, 60 more pounds than him, right? He is a heavyweight.
It's that combination of skill and body type.
Yeah.
And I feel like, body, you can work on it, but at a certain point, you have what you're given.
Yeah, and you got to work with what you got.
Yeah.
Like when we're playing, like us as friends playing basketball and shit, we're talking about Tyler using his height to it. You don't have the height, so you use your positioning. You use boxing people out, so you got to use whatever gifts that you're given. Like basically playing with the hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
He has an awkward hand that he was dealt, but it's a strong one. He's using it. He's using it good. He's using that long ass reach. He's using the athletic ability of striking, and he comes from a wrestling background.
Yeah.
So he also is a tough motherfucker to take down.
Yeah.
Those linky, awkward people, dude. He uses it.
Well, I mean, what's next? Like, who can beat him? That's the thing.
He is the Jordan of this time. Like he is the fucking GOAT of this era. It's always gonna get better because there's kids right now who that's the standard, right?
Yeah.
So John Jones is the standard. Kids are getting raised right now, like, how would I beat that? How would I be better?
Do you think someone will get to that skill level before it's like, because
before
age
he retires?
Age has a lot to do with it. So eventually, it's not going to be like a skill thing.
I don't see anybody on the radar, but there's some dude out there. There's always someone who's like more badass coming up. Some fucking dude from like Russia who's wrestling fucking saber-toothed tigers and shit. They still exist in Russia.
The only one that I can see out of anybody right now is
if he goes to heavyweight.
Alexander.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Coming back, and he's a similar build.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about fighting. Like, there's divisions, so if anything, you can always go outside of your division.
He'd have problems. He would do good in heavyweight, but he'd have problems. Like, I want to see him versus Cain Velasquez and see how he does against a stocky, beefy, hard-hitting wrestler.
Yeah.
He passed the test with Cormier.
I was
Cormier
going to say, isn't that Cormier?
He has a similar build, but I don't know. I think
not the pressure and like intensity of
Dude, Cain puts it all
like
together.
I said, I don't follow MMA too much, but like leading up to it, I saw that Cormier was training like the most he's ever done in his life.
He just got caught, dude. He really just got caught.
And that second round, he looked great. Like it was like, what? He's actually getting some hits in. Like he's controlling. He's pushing the pace at that point.
Let's give credit to Cormier. That was probably the best fight shape. His game plan.
He prepared the best he could.
That's the thing too. So, being that one, he lost twice. Two, that's the best he's ever been.
At this point, what else is there?
Can he? Because I mean, if you're not champ in a division, you're kind of just in limbo. Yeah. So can he fight anybody else? Does he get that third match?
Unless he's not getting the third match.
That's what I figured, but
unless he just sells the shit out of it if he hops on the mic. Yeah. But the whole thing is, he's already older. He's got knocked out now. Mm-hmm. He's going to be more chinny. Chuck Liddell, he even said in an interview, once he got knocked out twice, it was just easier to get knocked. Your brain's like, oh, I got to shut off.
Yeah, you're like trying to have to defend yourself.
And then how much more damage does he want? He's an analyst. If John Jones wasn't around, he would be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. You got to just take it, I guess. I don't know. He couldn't win.
His only losses is to John Jones. Mm-hmm.
John Jones fucked him hella bad with he said, you're always just second best. You weren't the best in wrestling. You weren't. He just hit him with that. That's
why I kind of.
That's a stab.
That's why I kind of paid attention to this match, because it always felt like Cormier was trying to establish himself. Like, I'm the champ. Like, I do these things. Like, you should praise me more. And then Jones was just trolling him the whole time. Like, dude, you're not even good. Like,
and you can tell there was anger at the end of the match, because even when he had him rocked, he could have stopped punching. He was fucking going hard on the ground.
Yeah, but as a fighter, you gotta do that. You gotta secure the win. Like, until the ref tells you stop, you keep going.
And I honestly don't think he cares, because you remember there was an eye poke in that thing in the fight. Remember there was an eye poke, right?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah, I believe there was an eye poke. I don't remember what round it was. He uses that as a strategy. He knows that there's going to be one warning. It's fighting. I know that there's a sportsmanship aspect now.
Oh, so you're saying that was on purpose then?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Do you think that affected...
Maybe that particular one wasn't on purpose, but he's done it in fights. Like, he's...
Oh, you get one warning.
You're saying, like...
You get one warning.
He's smart enough to use that for his advantage. Exactly. But he didn't necessarily use that in this fight.
Maybe he did. Maybe that poke was... bam, let me mess up his vision, it comes every fight.
Was it in the eye that, the side that he got kicked on?
I'm not sure if I can't go deep into my database.
I want to say it was this eye. Did he get kicked on the side?
He got kicked on his right side.
Yeah,
left
so it
foot.
was.
I don't know what eye he got poked in.
It was that one then. Because I remember he was cut over here a little bit.
I'm not sure what eye he got poked in.
He got cut because of the headbutt.
Oh yeah, there was also a head, but that one seemed unintentional. Yeah, I don't know. If he can hide it that good, then John Jones is a gangster. But that's another thing. The oblique kicks, that's almost like in sparring, you don't do that shit.
Nope.
Because you don't want to. That's a big injury. If you hyperextend or kick someone where they tear,
performing.
Yeah, you don't do that in sparring. That's almost like an unwritten rule, like a gentleman.
Illegal,
it's a gentleman thing.
I
don't think it should be illegal in fighting, but. In sparring, don't do that.
It's like a game time thing only.
Yeah, he does asshole things, right? Mm-hmm. But that's what you got to do to be where he's at, right? You got to fucking eye poke him one time. You got to get a nut shot if you're losing. You got to do something to swing it your way.
Well, going back on it, so you're saying there's nobody currently that's even in the radar. Is there anyone maybe retired that can come in and do it?
Everything always gets better. Like we spoke about this before with technology. You have fucking shitty Motorola flip phones when we were in high school to now the phones that we have now is just fucking space age technology, dude. Everything constantly gets better because you're either learning from the past or you're not. He has learned from the past. He used to watch on YouTube, Anderson Silva, and he would try out the Anderson Silva moves and add his own pizzazz to it. Mm-hmm. So he took the best of the generation before
Silva doesn't fight
and applied it.
He still does with the dad.
He does, but he shouldn't. Dude, you already did it all. You're a Brazilian legend. Just kind of chill, man.
Dude, it's cool. Like Favre, right?
Yeah, he just doesn't want to quit. But only difference, cool, actually, there's a difference because you still get concussions and shit in football, but in fighting, it's there all the time. Yeah. So once you're done, you got to just get out, man. You're gonna be fucked up for the rest of your life. They haven't found anything.
But is he the type of person to do it for the sport, or just because
he's probably gonna stay in until he's fucking brain dead, man?
Because that's the only
he has
thing
that warrior spirit. He's been doing it his whole damn life.
It's like when people get out of jail, they don't know what to do with themselves.
They relate their essence there being to fighting.
Yeah.
You know,
He
so
sees
it's
himself as like
very
Bushido.
hard.
He sees himself as like the samurai.
It's
and
very hard.
without that identity, like it happens to all people in all sports, right? Like,
I mean, yeah.
look at all the football players and look at all these motherfuckers trying to come back. Look at these basketball players doing 3-on-3 tournaments and shit.
Hey, man. I had high hopes for that, but it didn't really pan
I did
out.
because our basketball games half court seem so fucking dope. But once I seen that, I was like, okay, I only watched it once.
You get the concept that it's retired stars of the NBA playing for fun.
Ice Cube sold it pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was really good marketing.
Yeah.
One, it's not live, so you're watching a pre-recorded thing. With internet nowadays, you know who
you know
won,
what happened,
right?
yeah.
Like it's not a big deal.
It's impossible to.
And
keep shit
two,
in.
they didn't get exactly like the people, like superstars. Like they got stars, don't get me wrong. It's just their biggest name was Allen Iverson. And every time I saw like a
Dope when I was
game,
in elementary,
it looked like he didn't want to play there.
He was on the bench though.
Yeah. And he was player coach, so it's not like he was benching himself. It's like, you know?
To me, it's the pace.
they just shoot threes.
What I think of 3-on-3 basketball is it's nonstop action. People driving to the hole.
It is, but when you
out,
score, it's
pass,
still
pass,
it
pass.
still goes back and gets reset. So there's, it's not just
And
like
they're
back
gonna
and
add
forth.
that to the Olympics, or they're talking about adding.
They
it
are
to the
they're
Olympics.
adding it for sure.
Let's see how it looks in the Olympics with young motherfuckers that that really want it. They're still in their primes. I want to see how that might look. It might change my idea. But this version of it, I didn't really like it.
Yeah,
I wasn't a
didn't
big
pan
fan.
out. Well,
Good
do you think if they add like bigger names,
If you add
to it?
Shaq to that motherfucker, he starts throwing his patented elbows. You
Yeah.
had Vlade Divac, and you had some rivalry there.
Yeah.
You had Pedro, he starts busting from that 4-point circle.
I think
maybe.
just try with younger dudes and like the
Well, that's the appeal to it though.
That's coming with the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like if there was a younger dude that had skills to play, they might as well be in the NBA.
I'm gonna call this from right now.
D-League
China
people.
is gonna win the 3-on-3 Olympics.
Hey, basketball's hot in China.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. Mexico's gonna do all right. I'm calling it.
Okay.
Oh, apparently there's a Vice land about basketball
in China?
players. In Mexico.
Well,
There's like a group of
Well, I know, like in the European countries, like it's really hot. You know how there's always that draft where a lot of European players get chosen.
I've seen a little bit of it. I'm not like following that shit too much, but what I see on that, I see a lot of passing. I see they almost play with.
It's a lot of fundamentals, dude.
Yeah.
They almost play with this Magic Johnson like swagger to it, which I like. That's how I like playing basketball, is getting those passes in and whatnot.
See,
easy
so
I like seeing
it all comes down to money too. Like the NBA is where the money's at.
Yeah.
Right. Right now, the style of play in the NBA is a long ball. You know, they're doing fast breaks, chucking up a three. Like before, like maybe 10 years ago, that's you can't do that. You know, you get benched if you throw a three on a fast break. You go lay it up or dunk it. What the hell are you doing? You know, and now like that's what it is. Like obviously the Warriors are kind of like the main team that everybody's trying to. I don't want to say copy, but get as close to with the same kind of tactics. And yeah, I mean the league's just a shooting league. You know.
Yeah. Well, the rules made it to that because you get fouled off of the most off of the most littlest thing. So you just put yourself in the best situation.
But see, that's the thing. Like if calls get fouled more, you saying they get called more, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to drive it in more to get that foul and then go to the free throw line?
No, because you do a pump, they jump in the air, and you jump into their arm to shoot the three ball, and now you got extra shots.
Not everybody does that.
A lot of players do.
I know Harden does that like as a technique.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
Durant invented that shit damn near.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I'm saying like our free throw is always better than that low percentage mid-range shot. You know.
Yeah.
So if they're calling fouls more, you would want to drive it, get fouled. You could still have the option for a 3-point play if it goes in.
I don't want it to become like, not to talk shit, I love soccer, that was my first sport. I don't want it to become like certain leagues in soccer where it's flop friendly. Like
that's not league specific. That's just
I know it's a universal thing, but I feel certain refs in certain leagues might be a little bit more. I feel Mexican refs want to whistle. They want to be super part of the game when maybe certain
like
European
protagonists.
When certain European refs might just let it play a little more and shit, you know. So certain leagues might call for that more. Yeah. So I don't want basketball to be like, oh, let me just flop now.
I will say there's a lot more influence in certain leagues than others in terms of, Because it happens in like European leagues too, where
Yeah.
the big teams are the ones that don't get as much called on them, and then get called for them. You know.
Yeah.
But like in like the MLS and the Mexican league, there's just a lot of, because they run playoffs, right? So the more games you get, the better. So if an outcome makes it so there's another game played, that's kind of favored, you know. So it's more of just getting the most airtime as possible, because the people that control those leagues are the TV rights people, and that goes for every league too. I mean, it happens in like England and stuff. Like that's the biggest money makers are the ones that have the best deals with the TV owners, right?
Getcha.
And so I feel like here, in terms of
That makes
reffing, in
sense.
terms of everything, like the more you can get more games or more play time, like let's say it's 1-0, right, and it's 90, and if they tie, it goes to extra time. Like that's more time that soccer's on TV. So I'm not saying a ref is gonna call a penalty, but he's a lot more likely just based on like the TV.
He has a little
providers.
mic in his ear, and they're like, "Don't call that one."
Yeah.
What do you think about the replay
That was,
situation?
I was gonna bring that up. I hate that.
You don't like it?
I-
You like
I
the
was
old
watching,
style? My family loves it. My dad's like, "Oh, there we go. We needed that."
No. I was watching
Leave it to
the
the discretion?
Confederations Cup, right? And so I think it was a Mexico game. It was 80-something. They stopped the game because of a scruffle. Like players get heated, whatever. They shove each other around. No big deal.
Yeah.
They stopped the game for a good, I want to say 10, 12 minutes. In soccer, that's unheard of. Like you don't do that. Like
Yeah, that's a long time.
that's the beauty of the sport. Like it just kind
Letting it
of
run.
plays. It runs. Like there's 45 minutes of nonstop half, and then the most stoppage you have is like a goal kick or a throw in, and even then it resumes fairly quickly. As opposed to other sports, there's timeouts. I mean, you have time to get a breather or whatever.
I think the instant replay, or like, yes, it can be. But to me, what's the most controversial was all the time if the ball goes in through the goal.
That's different.
The sensor.
That can be done
the sensor
fast.
bring that
I
up.
could do I accept
You
that.
just light it up like hockey. It goes.
Yeah.
It has a sensor in the
Yeah.
ball, and then
Yeah.
in the post, if it
Uh-huh.
goes through,
Yeah, it goes through.
I
you
get
a
that.
loud ass
Because-
noise and turns red.
Because I totally get what you're saying about the instant
Instant
replay.
replay.
Yeah.
Because the flow of the game matters.
Yeah.
If you stop
Yeah,
it,
hell yeah, you kill someone's
You
chemistry.
you see that in other sports, like what was it? In basketball, when like towards the
team
end of
is
the
hot,
game, they
yeah.
just keep doing the replays and they go to the side and like.
it won't kill
I
you.
get it, but it's basketball, so there's timeouts anyway, so it's
Yeah.
not too much of a big deal. If they do it all the time, it
Yeah.
gets annoying, but whatever. I know in baseball they do that now too. Baseball's boring already, so it's like it's
The
not.
game already
it's
takes
not
5 hours.
Yeah, it's like you're adding another 30 minutes to a 5-hour
I
game
don't
or
watch it
whatever.
anyways, I'm sorry. I respect
But-
baseball players. I can't watch a sport.
But soccer's so fluid. It's like you can't
You
be
need to
doing
leave
that
it
stuff.
running.
I'm
You
all
need to-
for the goal line technology because I that's quick. It can be done.
Just like in hockey.
It's just you can't interrupt the flow of the game.
Yeah.
In terms of that, and honestly, the best moments in sports is when there's mistakes like that. When something doesn't get called, everybody talks about Maradona's hand of God
Yeah,
goal
the
that he
handball.
scored. If that would have happened nowadays with that technology,
Everybody would have been going like this.
they'd be
They're
on the
making
booth for
square.
like 30 minutes, just like,
Yeah.
oh, hold on, I think he touched it.
And that was funny
because
too,
I've
to see
seen
all
the
the players doing that
replays.
square.
I've seen the replays, and
Calling
even on the
for it.
replays, it's tough to
Yeah.
see like if it goes
You
in.
need angles, just like in football. It's like fuck. If I don't have the good angle on where the
Yeah.
ball landed, where his knee touched, it's hard to judge.
Yeah, but in football,
football,
it gets
there's
to the point
cameras
where like,
everywhere.
oh, I don't know, so I'm just gonna call what it was originally.
Cameras are gonna eventually
you know?
fucking be in the helmets and shit. They're gonna
Yeah.
make this stuff
Yeah.
crazy, dude. The
But it's like
perspective.
that's part of the game, and it's tough saying it because every time it's for you, you're like, oh, well, yeah, it's part of the
yeah,
game.
uh-huh.
Every time it's against you, you're like, no, let's get the fucking replays going. Like, we don't want that to mess up our team. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, either for or against, it's part of the game in terms of there's mistakes happen. Some of the best mistakes have brought us the best moments in sports. So it's just in any sport, just
It's
kind of
part
cutting
of-
that down.
part of the culture.
Like,
part of the
I
game.
get wanting to be right, but mistakes are part of everything, so might as well have them. In terms of fairness, I mean, I guess that's what it comes down to, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it, and I don't like the time being stopped like that. Like it's ridiculous.
In MMA, there's not really like instant replay type of situations. That's one of the things that you have to leave it flowing.
They do it.
As well.
They do like. Well, yeah, they don't. Huh? They just stop time if someone.
Yeah,
like,
something
if there's
happens,
an
but they don't
infraction or
really go
something.
and like look. Fighting should be. I don't know. Fighting should be more. They should try to like manipulate a little bit where it's more, I guess, realistic, or kind of switch roles up in certain ways.
Mean?
For instance, if I'm gonna hit you with my fist, right, straight on your forehead, I can break my knuckles, I can break my wrist. So adding the glove and adding the cast adds like a weapon, right? It's like an extra element. But if you're allowed to go shin bone or knee to someone's head, why can't you do bare fist? I know it's to make it a sport, you have to like market it by putting gloves and whatnot. But they should.
So you're saying they shouldn't use gloves?
No, dude, because that's gonna change up fighting entirely. Then it's easier to grip. It just changes. I'm not gonna fucking go knuckles to your dome. I would switch it up. I'd maybe go elbow, or I just do kicks more often. I'm gonna switch how I hit. I might go open palm strikes. You know, I might switch it up a little bit. I think they should test that. Somebody out there's got somebody in Russia, fucking Putin. Putin's got it.
How you're saying, like, that's hard to market. You know, that's
I don't give a shit. That's like
seen more as like a brawl, like
I know, but that's the real thing. And then, like, it's been argued. I know on the Rogan podcast, they're like, take away the cage. The cage is an artificial element. Like, it's added.
You know how many motherfuckers use that cage? Like,
I know it's added to the
that's part of their game.
Now imagine like just an open
an
open arena, or like all matted or whatever. That would switch up the technique, and that would switch up the shit. I guess I just want to see a slightly different spectacle. I'm not clamoring for fucking weapons next.
But
we're not making it the Coliseum.
I'm sure they have other. Fighting.
Yeah, but they need to bring in some big names in those motherfuckers.
See, with that, I think it's just like, why do we wear pads and helmets for football? You know,
you argue that is worse.
So you get less concussions.
It might be more.
I think it's just.
I get your point. Like,
I think it's just
because you have that, you get more careless. So you're like, all right, let's go harder.
The helmet becomes a weapon. In rugby, there are concussions. There are all the same injuries, but I feel it's less. And then they had to change how they tackle. They're not spearing motherfuckers. They're just doing like a wrestling takedown.
Because even though MMA is a newer sport in our country, you know,
it started in '93. Technically,
I mean, compared to football, it's been what?
I think it's being branded recently, because I mean, fighting's always been around.
Yeah. But the most primal way of.
But I think we just have an image of what it should look like already. You know?
Okay, that's
right.
Fair.
Because
that goes with any sport.
Yeah. You know, let's say if you have like if you're playing basketball, you have tank top, shorts, basketball shoes.
Unless you're like the new age, like they have full shirts now. Don't even get me started on that.
We're almost going into the concept of Bruce Lee, where he wore something hella funky, and all the martial art purists were like, "Why aren't you wearing a gi and a kimono and all this shit?" And he's like, "I don't need to. I'll whoop your ass wearing this yellow jumpsuit."
It's just been put into that sport like a glove, or
it's been put into the human psyche and the human consciousness.
I think it just looks good, and plus
Well, I mean, like we were saying, like to market something, it's got to be standardized.
It has to be
to a certain degree. Like it needs to be where the highest level and the lowest level aren't that far off, where you can essentially meet at the same pace. That's why I like soccer so much. You need a goal. A ball, and just people to play with.
And when we play, sometimes you just put clothes on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even. It doesn't have to be like a goal with a net. It just has to be somewhere where you have two
trash cans up and we're ready to go.
That's why. That's why it's so popular. That's why it's so universal. That's why anybody can play it. And to a certain degree, you don't even need a ball. You just need something round. You know. Little Brazilian kids, they play with whatever they got.
Put tape. When we were in Cuba, there was kids playing with like a flat ball, but the game changes a little bit, right? Because when it lands, it's just dead. So they're doing more scooping and shit like that.
Even back in middle school, we had a basketball court, but we didn't have functioning basketballs. So what we ended up doing is improvising. We had like a flat ball, and it was kind of a mixture of like kind of football and basketball. We couldn't dribble because the ball wouldn't bounce at all. So we would just essentially
you can only pass,
but you can take a couple steps, right?
Yeah, like 2 steps, like almost a layup, but you can't like run with it. So
Yeah,
you, gotta
you can't
pass
just
it.
run with it. So
Yeah.
essentially,
like ultimate
improvise.
frisbee with a little. You guys had tackling in this?
Well, I remember people pulled off like spin moves and everything. It was pretty epic.
got intense. We're gonna do this one.
Yeah. And I mean, just things like that. Like you always find a way to entertain yourself, and whether it be a variation of a sport or whatever, you know, you wanna get it to where anybody can do the same thing. That's why they do gloves and like from the highest level to the lowest level. You want to have something that's standardized so you can kind of market.
Let's go deep into this real quick. Thinking about, we're talking about multiple sports. Think about like the essence of what sport is. Like, why do us little chimpanzee humans choose
Competition?
to do these?
Yeah.
It's all like
a
the testosterone thing, right?
yeah.
We're like trying to get hierarchy within the males.
Testosterone, but I mean, even
think
women
wanted
get
to.
as fuck, dude.
What is that? Was that like almost like a war-like thing in our head where, okay, we're not
I
gonna kill
think-
each other because we're civilized, but let's
It
play
goes back-
basketball and let's get...
It goes back to like the essence of survival. Like you want to one up. Like the next
It's so
person
just
close to
deeply
you,
rooted
whether
into
that's
our
your
nature.
family member, your friend, or just a random stranger. Like at a certain point, you want to get the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's so deeply just rooted that we put that at the highest pedestal. The World Cup is seen by damn near everyone. Even like this Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. People who don't know what the fuck fighting is, they don't know what boxing is, they don't know what MMA is. They're gonna watch it just because of the spectacle. Same thing with the
I'm watching
the
it.
Super Bowl.
I'm not paying for it, but I'm watching.
We gotta figure that one out, guys. We gotta put our collective knowledge together.
Yeah. Well, it's very like tribal.
Yeah,
Like, it's just.
But it goes beyond just sports. Like
Yeah,
even
it
in
is.
life, like I work in sales and it's competitive. Like you need to have that edge because you want to stand out in front of. And like for me, I don't even want to stand out in terms of because you know at work you always want to get that promotion.
Yeah.
You want to be that guy. I don't care about that. It's just when I see someone that's in the same position I am that's doing better, I'm like, shit, I can do better.
Okay, I got a
Man,
question
like,
now. That's so deeply rooted into our society, right? Do you feel it's because we created this thing that we're living in? We created the rules of it. Do you think that is essential in our society? Do you think this competitive?
in terms of what?
It's essential just to keep the thing functioning. I don't know.
To
Just
a
put your
certain
own
degree,
spin
yeah.
on the essential.
I mean, competition drives capitalism. That's what it's
And
all about,
that's
right?
what we're in.
It's to me, competition's good if you do. Yes, competition's good to get like if you perform better, then you get X amount of things. You know? Yes, that's good too.
That's a good point.
But it's also some people take it as, oh, I'm better than someone.
Yeah.
Other is
It's
like,
all the
okay, I'm
interpretation.
improving.
I'm gonna
You know?
relate this to something.
It's like
Yeah, no, I got something to
weird
relate that
concept.
to as well.
when we went to
Hopefully I don't
Cuba, it's
forget.
a communist country, sort
Fucking
of still,
communist.
right? The customer service
Oh
over there
my
is
God.
shit. Utter
Yeah.
shit. They don't give a fuck because they can't accept tips. They can't
Me
do.
neither.
It's utter shit, right? Here,
You ever gone to McDonald's? Dude?
because
but here where you can
Their
get
ice cream machine's always broken.
here in America, the great U.S. of A, where you can get tipped, the customer service is badass.
No,
It's kick ass.
because in Cuba, a fucking doctor makes the same wage as
A taxi driver.
A taxi
driver gets more.
Actually, because of tips, but get paid as much as like a dishwasher or a janitor.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
dude, there was this random.
Like I get the
lawyer-
idea of communism, but I've never
Yeah.
actually experienced it.
I would need to do more research to have a very valid. Like I have thoughts upon it.
Yeah, but you've been somewhere that
Yeah.
runs it, so you understand like that.
a certain degree, but I would need to almost be in the system longer to
obviously.
form like a valid opinion on it. What I seen in Cuba is honestly the people there are kind of fucking happy.
They're
dude.
happy.
They
They're
have
happy
no
with
freedom
it,
to
yeah.
leave the place, but they just.
Are you saying they're happy in terms of happier than people here?
It seems like it.
They're
dude.
more content.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
just like we can't do nothing about
They
it. Let's
value
just
things
enjoy
more,
it,
right? Is that what you're saying?
And they're in. What's the word I'm looking for? They can make fucking ice cream out of shit, dude. They are just they'll cars
You
will
want to
break.
try this new shit ice cream? We have?
Their car will break down and they'll get lawnmower
Because-
parts to fix it because
that's
nothing's
pretty
coming in, dude.
Because
MacGyver City, dude.
Yeah, dude.
what I realized over there, it's always a weekend, meaning that they don't wait until the weekend
Must be nice.
To
live or hang out till 2 a.m.
Every single night.
Every single night, it's
Popping.
Friday,
people out till
Saturday.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because people have different schedules. Like, okay, I feel like being out at nighttime. I'm gonna live at nighttime. There's always a scene. There's something.
It's
to
not
do.
like here, like, oh, I got work tomorrow.
And there's almost like a curfew in a sense here. We stop serving alcohol at this time. Cuba, no. If you find a store that's open or some shit like that, there's bars.
Y'all got any booze?
They'll serve you shit.
You would consider like a communist country to be like suppressive, right? No, it was one of the freest places I ever been to.
But here's the thing: I wouldn't want to be there because Cuba was a tough fucking place, right? But there's there's a certain mindset about it that I did like. I liked how people were just drinking rum at 2 o'clock on the street, just right there sipping rum. Little old dude sipping some rum, watching the horses and the old cars go by.
Well, why can't you drink rum at 2 p.m. on the street?
I don't know. I think I'd get arrested.
We got work.
I think I'd get fucking arrested.
I mean,
there's something to that though. It's
a sort of freedom.
That's why I
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Like communism seems or is presented as like being oppressed and being controlled, but you get that sort of freedom where you can just do whatever you want.
No one's gonna commit a crime because then you're gonna pay harsh.
So you think they are more aware or? Yeah, I guess more aware of the consequences of fucking up.
I felt safer in Cuba walking around at 3-4 in the morning than I do at like walking on Northgate over here in the Norwood, US of A. Yeah. Hell no, some tweakers
the levee with the machete.
We were walking on levee to train for this trip. We had our backpacks on. Yeah. There was a black homeless dude doing tricks with a machete. I was like, "Fuck, we're gonna die before we." I
took off my backpack and make it as a shield.
And we walked as fast as we can without looking too like panicked.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah. So. I think the people in Cuba I feel they just enjoy what they have. And yes, they are in a shitty situation, but I think they're doing the best thing that...
So, do you think communists could work to a certain degree in certain places?
I don't know, man.
Do you think it's working there?
No.
Because,
yes, in terms of... The older generations there are pretty happy, but the younger generation is capitalist minded, dude.
Yes.
The older generation talk shit about the younger ones. They're like, oh,
they do that here.
Yeah, true, but
they're like they always want something they can't have.
Yeah, and the younger
just be happy what you got.
We spoke with a lot of the younger generation people out there, and they're like, man, I just want to be able to leave this island if I choose.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go and see different things.
Option.
I want to live in the U.S. for a while if I want to, or in Mexico if I want. But with the whoop.
Yeah. So we were going to the beach, right? Maybe the second week we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Romo was sitting with like this mother of 3, and I was sitting with the kids.
Right.
And I showed them pictures of Mexico.
Right.
And in my head, I'm thinking like they will never ever see this.
Maybe the
one
shit
day
will change.
Well,
It's so young enough.
Yeah.
Castro's
Can
gone.
they? I know they have beef with the U.S. right? They can't go anywhere else, or is it just really tough to go anywhere else?
I don't know. I think you have to get certain types of visas. I'm not an expert on Cuba.
Yeah.
But my hunch or what I'm guessing is you have to get a certain type of visa, and you may not be able to get it too easy. You got to be a certain type of person.
You got to know.
But they opened it up a little more now because...
You got to do a couple things in a parking lot.
That's a little sketchy back alley.
A couple of
People can go to Cuba now.
You might only have one spleen.
People can go to Cuba now.
Yeah.
But you need to like say you're on like a certain type of trip, or you got to like say what
how'd
you
you guys
there.
get there?
We went to Mexico.
So you can just go from...
You can go from Mexico there, just don't have them stamp the passport and your gravy. Wanted him.
I kind of wanted to stamp
it, but I was like, no, I don't want to get in trouble here. I was panicky because I brought some Cuban cigars back into Mexico. That's not that big of a deal.
Dude. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But it's not that big of a deal to bring it to Mexico. But when I was going to come to the U.S., I'm like, no, I'm just going to smoke this cigar in Mexico.
Cohibas or what are they?
Cigarritos.
Yeah.
Cigarros. Yeah, it was intense. It was cool.
But Cuba was something else. I would not go back there for maybe 5-10 years until the U.S. just fucks it with hotels or European.
It's got to become how it was at
Cancun
when it was like Vegas back in the day. Like I don't know when was that in the
20s,
30s or 20s or whatever. I'll go back when it's like that. When there's casinos and I'll go back.
Hotels.
I'll take my wife. I'll take my kids, and I'll see it then. It needs to get raped a little by the U.S. and capitalism needs to come in there a tad bit.
It's a little more.
Maybe
open,
the other Castro has to die or something.
Because dude, it's tough. Like
they said it was stricter. Even they said before they weren't allowed to interact with tourists. some lady was telling me, he's like, before we weren't allowed to interact with tourists, and now we are.
Who enforces everything there?
There's police walking around. They got guns and shit. It's
like it's legit.
It's pretty militant, but I feel it's not even as militant as Mexico. But Mexico's more because of the narcos and shit. There's
more action.
We were in Puerto Vallarta, and we left the little beach area, and then it's like a whole nother world. You cross from the beach to the city, and there's motherfucking tanks. There's
you're not in Kansas anymore.
There's dudes on 50 cows, and they're basically saying, "Don't fuck with our tourists." Do not fuck. They had 50 cows on those damn things, dude. And then we walked around and all we seen were old white people. Old white people bought everything in Puerto.
They're the best.
We literally could have stand in one corner, and every 5 minutes you would have seen some kind of tank or some kind of army vehicle.
Wow, it's really like that?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then when we were in Cancun, we were speaking with military police dude, and he was saying that, talking about the narco situation, he's like, we just let them fight it out. He's like, as long as they don't bring their beef into the cities, if they're fighting in the jungles, if they're fighting in the deserts, we let them kill themselves off. He's like, but if once they step over here, that's when we have to do our shit. So they almost let them operate, right? They're gonna let them operate, but there's certain zones you don't cross into.
Themselves out, I guess. Yeah.
That was interesting, man.
Yeah, it was.
That's one beautiful thing about travel. We were talking about this earlier when we were driving. You go and it's like a video game, right? You step into a brand new map. There's certain things you got to figure out. Especially if you're backpacking. There's certain things you got to figure out. First, if you show up by bus or whatever, you have to know how to get back to the bus station. You have to find your hotel. You have to find your chicken spot, the cheap chicken spot.
Your coordination, like
you set little
your bearings.
Points. You set little points. If you have clothes, you got to find the lavanderia, and then once you hit all these little points, you're like, okay, now and you got to find the Oxxo. Oxxo is key in Mexico. Those little gas station type thingies, those are major key, because it's cheap as dirt, and it has everything. It's got all the American amenities with the Spanish twist.
Once you establish those things,
toothpaste.
because it's very hard to have fun if you have some kind of worry in back of your head.
I know what you mean.
You know, and then plus you don't want to be walking around like a dumbass, have a big old backpack looking like a sore thumb. Like, oh, come rob me right now. You know?
But I love it.
Hey, check out my backpack. Got a lot of stuff in there.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
It's challenging, right? Like, there's times where I was frustrated we couldn't find good food, or it was hot, or like
it was a 16-hour bus ride.
We were in the bus for dumbass long. When we get out, we couldn't find food or whatnot. Like, there were struggles, but everything is problem solving, and there's like a little, I don't know what chemical in your brain goes off once you get a little bump of like, boom, I just accomplished a mission.
Endorphins, dude.
And it's like you're getting experience points on all these things. It is problem solving. With almost like a dire concept. You're out there, dude. You're out there on your own, or with your boy or your girl.
I know what you mean about that experience thing, because it's.
I came back different from that trip, man.
Well, just a little thing. Like one time I was hiking with Nick, right, and we're at a point where there was just a cliff and then just a beach, right. So it's like either we walk like 2 miles over there and go down, or we just fucking man up. Climb these rocks down and get there, and it's like, well, fuck it, let's do it. And we just climb down there, and it's like we kind of related it to like in a video game. Like, there's different aspects to get experience. And like, we're like, oh, we just got fucking rock climbing experience.
No,
definitely.
The older I get,
now we know that we can go down, no problem. So if we ever come back, or if we come back with someone else, like, we know we can do that.
Exactly, 100%. It's almost like.
And I love to think like that, like certain things that you do.
Game.
Yeah, it's just like you get experience in certain things. You level up in a certain way.
Exactly. Once you do something that you at first didn't think was possible, and now you did it once, you know you can do that shit again. So when you're traveling, you're running into all these different obstacles. Like, I've done solo trips from like just here to Portland, or I just drive off on my own. I know I can make it out there on my own. I know I can get deep into Mexico on these bus rides, and I can make it all the way to Cuba, survive in Cuba. Do you know how much weight I lost in Cuba? When I got to Cuba, I was 170 pounds. When I came back, I was my high school weight of like 156 or some shit like that.
It was
all
tough.
The kids from the high school were like, "Oh my God, you used to be buff. Are you sick? Do you have AIDS? Like, what?
Did you catch shit?
What the fuck happened to you?" I was like, "It was Cuba."
Yeah. Oh my!
You got tapeworm, dude.
No one told us about the exchange rate in Cuba for tourists. It's different.
no one's gonna rob you. No one's
Yeah.
gonna kidnap you, but they're gonna try to fuck you. They're gonna try to hustle you. So we got
holla. Let me holla.
we got hustled the first day and we kind of learned it. And then it took us a couple days to learn the exchange rate. We probably could have studied it a little bit more, but
What's so different about the exchange?
they have a tourist money and then they have a local money, right? You can only get the tourist money. I guess there is ways to get the other one, but it's shunned upon, or I don't know exactly. But it's $1 for $1, $1 for $1. Was it CVC or CUC?
CVC.
CVC is the Cuban money. That's the tourist money.
Yeah.
I believe. So it's like $1 for $1. You're not getting nothing with that, but shit's pretty cheap. A coffee is like $1. A pizza that's like could fit in my hands like $1. So there's like some. The best thing is pastries.
Coffee's $3.10 where I go, like for small.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Black coffee.
Pastries were the cheapest thing,
But-
25 cents, 15 cents. So we'd sometimes just eat pastries.
But we didn't plan for that.
Yeah, we didn't
We
think
thought
about
it was
that.
the exchange rate was
Almost of Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna get a fuck ton of money for my
Yeah.
U.S. money.
Yeah.
Nah.
dude.
And that goes for just U.S. money or any other currency?
Mexican money, we weren't getting shit for it. It was like
Yeah.
damn near the same exchange rate, I believe. I believe it, like 17 to 1. So we had to give 17 pesos for one of their
Damn.
CVC or whatever CUC. So it was a little tough, but you figure it out and you learn that you can do it.
Yeah.
Like I recently,
it's a point where you kind of have to, so
yeah,
you
you
do
gotta
it.
figure it out.
We have to tell them the challenges though we faced in Cuba because dude, that was one of the most challenging experiences of my life.
Okay, first of all, the room that we had didn't have an AC.
Yeah, because fuck Paul.
Yeah, we had a room with AC, but we met this dude named Paul. He's like an old guy, and he kind of like latched onto us. He's like, "Can I travel with you guys?"
He didn't want to get raped.
Yeah, so I was like, "I guess Paul." And he was telling the story.
Little did he know.
He told us like the 8th time he went to the Great Wall of China and shit. This dude's been everywhere. He's a
like,
real
we get
life
it.
MacGyver.
It's a fucking wall.
He
Yeah.
lives out of his backpack. He has
Yeah.
like no family, but he has kids and shit. But he never
Divorced.
sees them. He's divorced. And
Kids hate him.
He doesn't believe in afterlife, so he says he wants to do virtual life extension where he lives exciting days to make his life seem longer. And
He wants to
not a
live
bad
at
idea.
least 150.
no, but traveling with this dude was tough because
Yeah.
we're walking around and
He's
then
that guy?
Yeah.
he's very edgy.
He's antsy like he does coke every day. Like that's how like fidgety.
It's one of
he
those
is.
things where you're like, don't do anything weird, and then they fucking do weird stuff.
So moral of
Yeah.
it is we had
Blend
a good,
in.
we had a good room, and then Paul came by, and we made it cheaper by staying with him
Yeah.
But
one
without
night,
AC.
but he slept in the nude,
Yeah.
and he was super Jewy.
Yeah.
So like I was like, we gotta ditch this dude. Frank, you gotta tell him. Frank had a conversation with him, told him that we can't continue on with him and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the next spot we get,
That's the
Did you
first
just tell him the
challenge.
truth or did you lie to him?
Nah,
No, tell him
I'm like
fairly
Paul.
try to be nice about it.
We gotta go. You know,
We don't wanna hold
we
you
have
back.
plans. You got plans. I don't think
plans
it's
not
gonna go
marriage.
tomorrow.
we basically broke up with Paul.
Yeah.
You sleep in the nude.
You know, we can still be friends.
I saw your
You rose in the back like,
Yeah, that's not cool. So then the next room we get a good deal on it. We're like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, we got a good deal. We got a good enough
For 2
money
weeks,
to
yeah.
survive. And no AC.
No
It's
AC.
80 something or worse at night.
Yeah, with mosquitoes, humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find a pizza place. I was telling you for $1, you get full off that pizza. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, I'll survive off pizza and pastries if I
Yeah.
have to, right?
Yeah.
That pizza place apparently made its quota, so
Yeah.
it shuts down
So-
because it's communist.
So in Cuba,
Fucking
like a
communist.
business can it has a quota. No matter how fast or how long it meets its quota, it's gonna shut down right there and then.
Okay.
Either that or maybe he didn't have no flour and shit. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like
So
they
it can
didn't
only
bring him-
sell
X
what it
amount.
has,
A certain
and then
amount.
it has to shut down.
Yeah, a certain amount. You can.
You can say
earn-
can't make a profit.
Yeah,
right?
you cannot make.
And then
profit.
we're trying not to eat too much pork
Yeah.
because we seen how they transport it. They had like a little hitch on a bike, and
Yeah.
there was like 8 dead pigs, all full
Yeah.
of flies and shit, and the dude riding.
I'm sure they
with it.
clean it.
I don't
know,
know,
man.
They sold it. Yes.
How do you think they do it here?
Yeah. So.
I don't know.
So
They
that's-
have like a bunch of
I
dead
don't think
pigs
they
in a
transport
truck.
it on a bike.
Oh, yeah.
midday.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
midday.
like there's pigs on a truck
So,
and poop.
This
Like,
buff guy's armpit sweat was flapping in the wind onto the pigs.
So that's
This
the
is
second
how we
one,
salt it.
right?
that's called flavor.
Yeah.
You
So-
ever been to Flavor Town? That's where it's at.
Oh man.
So the third day, throughout the third day on, there was a shortage in Havana, Cuba
For water.
For water, right?
Okay.
So
it's quota too, or
I don't know.
They just ran out or something.
So with that, we only are allowed to do one flush
On the toilet.
on the toilet,
Damn.
and then 30 seconds each on the shower.
Damn.
Yeah. So I have to poop in the morning each time.
Yeah.
So I have to call Romo. Hey, do you need to poop or pee? Cause one flush, it's gone.
Gotta get our flush in.
Do you know what I did? I just constipated myself. I didn't
works.
shit for like a week. I was holding it inside.
I do that when I go
I felt
camping.
like I was gonna die. No, in the mountains I shit more.
This is the worst thing.
I just hate shitting in the
Oh
woods.
no, I'll shit. I'll throw it at a squirrel, man. I don't give a fuck. Out there, I have to shit more.
And I had an allergic reaction
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, it was bad. It was all over his body.
It was.
He had
I had
hives.
hives.
Damn.
Just imagine this. I was itchy.
It was hot.
It was hot and humid.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes everywhere.
No Zika for me, man.
And then you can barely shower, so you stink too.
Was it worse than the fucking kidney stones at Disneyland?
Yes, 10 times worse.
Because it was prolonged.
Yeah.
But here's a crazy thing. We were talking earlier about like a stoic mindset
Yeah.
of everything is neutral, right? Yeah, that was tough.
Oh, and then the last thing when we tried to get out of there.
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on. Before I talk about the stoic mindset,
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, there's
there's
more.
more.
To this.
So there's two things that I want to say. Two more bad things, and I go like air quotes, bad things. We had a coffee spot that we had the $1 for the coffee, right? We get there this other day, and they raised it like 50 cents. But for us, we were coming low on money. 50 cents was a big blow for us. And I look at this guy, I'm like, are you serious? I've been coming here every fucking day, and you've been charging me one fucking dollar for this, and now you're upping it 50 cents. And then he's like, yes. I fucking got heated. And I took a deep breath.
Flip the table.
I didn't know what. I would have got to get murdered out there.
Wait,
I take a
did they
deep
give you
breath.
a reason or just?
No, he just looked at me like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, with that tone too.
and I was just like, I walked away speaking English. I was like, fuck this place, whoop-de-whoop. I hit him with the whoop-de-whoop. I was like, fuck this place, we're never coming back. Screw you, man. We walked out.
Did you hit it with the? May I speak with the manager?
He was the manager. He was everything.
I am the manager, B.
I am Castro.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that day or the next day, we're like, bro, let's get the fuck off this island. Let's go back to the land.
That's the straw that broke the camel's
yeah,
back.
And
the
I was
coffee.
itchy.
And he was itchy as all shit.
Well, I mean, you can survive itchiness.
Yeah.
50 cents when you're running low, like
I was
you
like,
know.
fuck this. We're broke. We got to see if we can get off this island back to the land of Oxo, where we have like
You were living like kings.
yeah, we're living
Yeah.
like kings in Mexico. We had shit out there.
You do this.
So I was like, let's hop on the bus. It's like a hour bus ride or something, plus a long walk, because the bus only takes you so close to the airport. Then you got to walk like 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
So we're on these super cramped,
Cramped
crowded
buses
buses.
because-
Everyone's musty. It's a fucking tropical island. We're all in there.
And then they pack you like sardines.
Yeah, you're in there. There's armpits on you. You're like, men's asses are on you and shit. You're just
The
on
women,
this
though,
pack.
yeah.
But the women in Cuba are awesome.
Most gorgeous woman I've
So
ever seen
we'll get to
in my
the
life.
positives after
Sorry,
we do
baby.
this. We'll get to
Love
the
you.
positive after we do this. We're on the bus. The only open spot. We're like, oh look, a chair. It's open. We can sit. Awesome. Our luck's finally turning around. We're going to the airport. We're getting out of here. There was throw up right there. And at this point, I was like, fuck it. I think Frank sat down, and I was like, I'm just gonna stand in this throw up.
Yeah, and
And I started laughing like a psychotic laugh. I was like, it can't get any worse. We finally get off the
Bus breaks down.
We finally get off the bus. We walk to the airport. They tell us we can't leave. So we had to walk all the way back. Defeated as fuck. We walk all the way back. And then we're on top of the
Why
roof.
couldn't you leave?
It was going to be more than... We had to pay a certain amount, and it was way more than what we had. So we're like, fuck it, we got to survive 2 or 3 more days. So at that point, it kind of hit like, okay, going back to the stoic mindset now. All this shit's happening, and we're just sitting on top of this roof, and we're like, man, we're going to look back at this, though, and it's going to be a
Like
fucking
how
experience.
you are now?
Yeah, exactly. It's good. We were on top of this rooftop, and I have pictures from this rooftop. It is gorgeous. You see all of Havana. We're in old Havana. You see everything. They're building up their Capitol building, so like that was in the distance with scaffolding around it. The sun's coming down, and we're just sitting there. We're hungry. I'm constipated.
I'm itchy.
He's itchy. It's just like, fuck it, man. This is life. This is dope. This experience is legit. So coming in that stoic mindset, we took all that Cuba ditched at us, right? All these challenges, and I was like, man, at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade it back.
Yeah,
I still want to get the fuck off this island.
Yeah, best
But
burger too.
It was legit, man.
Like if you can get food there,
It's good food.
bomb
Well, it's good
food.
that you were able to capture that like at the time, because a lot of times you kind of just
Capture it later.
yeah, like you think back like you are right now, like just getting that, you know, like you think back and like, oh,
No, we soaked that moment
we were
in.
we were glad we had that experience. But you were able to actually be in the moment, and you're like, you know what? I'll probably, you know, still remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
later
try to
on.
enjoy the fuck
Yeah.
out of it. Even though
It's
it was
tough to do that
challenging.
sometimes.
And
you
then
know?
and here's the crazy thing, not to get all like woo woo on the law of
It got
attraction
better.
shit. It was the second to last day. They finally got water pumped up into their little water towers.
Yeah, and
It's a Christmas miracle.
and then the owner of the place we stayed at gave us bread from then on.
Yeah, like they
In
were
the
like,
morning.
hooking us up with breakfast bread and got
Damn.
coffee every morning. So we're
They're
like,
like-
fuck that other coffee spot. We got coffee here.
It was actually the Truman Show, and they were playing a big joke on you guys. And when they saw you were down, they're like, all right,
All right, let's pick this motherfucker up.
And
There's
then
cameras
we
all over
found
Cuba.
cheap pastries and cheap water.
Yeah.
like
Everything
it was
just
here the whole time.
just got better. We
Yeah.
started looking more for positives rather than looking
Yeah.
at the negative situation, and shit got way better. And then when we got back to Mexico, it was just one more night. Then we were heading home. We fucking hit Oxo. We hit
Kentucky
Fried Chicken. We hit everything we
Kentucky,
wanted,
man.
dude. It was legit. It was special.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a good experience.